Alright, what up guys? So today I'll be explaining another what if called Unexpected Help from Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Now before I begin, I do recommend you guys check out the what if playthrough I did beforehand, so you can see how it was originally presented to us, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. So let's begin. So the story of this what if is that we see basically the storyline where Mecha Frieza and King Cold come to Earth with their soldiers just like they did in the main timeline, only instead of Trunks or Goku in future Trunks' timeline, we get Devilman to defend the Earth, which we were first introduced to in Dragon Ball in Uranai Baba's tournament. So the way it plays out is that Devilman takes down Frieza's army first, then he fights Mecha Frieza, defeats him, and then fights King Cold. Now I'll break down how this would make sense. So before you actually select the what if, the Kibita Shinkai announces what this what if is going to be about, and does say it's impossible for him to have been on Earth. Now that line isn't actually talking about Devilman, it's actually talking about Frieza. The reason being is that Frieza must have arrived the night before the actual main event or one of the nights prior to it, which didn't originally happen in the timeline. So that's the impossible part about it. And this would explain why future Trunks didn't arrive and do anything on this what if, because in his history it was established that Frieza came after, during the day, not the nighttime. Now it is possible that this could have taken place in the future Trunks timeline, and because it's that timeline, Trunks would still be a baby and not come in and do anything for the scenario. And whichever timeline you want to picture this, it also makes sense why Goku wouldn't arrive, because he'd still be on the way since he arrived after Trunks in the main timeline during the day. So if this takes place the night before, or who knows how many nights before that, he wouldn't be available to take down King Cold and Frieza. So now as for Devilman and why he's here, Baba must have had him come back to be one of her champions, but since this is in the nighttime, they probably don't have a line anymore, so he's just out in the world doing whatever he wants. And if you remember, Baba's already been doing that for a while now, so that she can have them fight for her against the opponents who don't have enough money but also want her services. So when the scenario begins, you have Devilman fighting Frieza, and if you pay attention, every blow he does to Frieza doesn't actually hurt Frieza. And that would make sense if this was Devilman from back then in Dragon Ball, where he wasn't that strong, but actually something else is going on here. Because while this is happening, Frieza and Devilman are talking to each other. And then after that, we begin the battles with Frieza's soldiers, then Frieza himself and King Cold. And right there, when you actually do land any blows or whatever on these characters, it does hurt them. But if he is as strong as he was back then, that wouldn't be able to happen. So what I think is happening in the very beginning with Frieza and him is that they're just talking. Devilman is basically just dodging blows and stuff and just taunting him and whatever, and that's what's going on. Which would mean Devilman's a lot stronger to be able to, dodge stuff like that. And it also makes sense how he would actually be able to beat all these characters. He would have to be a lot stronger. He must have been training since, he got beat by Goku in Dragon Ball. Now to also somewhat compare this to the main timeline events, King Cold must have had his men fight Devilman before him and Frieza would have to step in, just like they did with Trunks. So, Devilman dispatches all of them, then starts going to the, the main threats, Mecha Frieza and King Cold. Now after Devilman beats a lot of those Frieza soldiers, and probably all of them, Frieza steps in to fight Devilman and eventually says that he was made a fool of. So that gives me a lot of evidence to think that Devilman's actually, on par with Frieza, dodging him and actually hurting him and whatnot. And it's not just the amazing ultimate he has against evil people that's doing the damage. So now that I've explained the battles, now I want to talk about some other interesting stuff. I noticed this what if had a lot more dub changes, it's different from what the subtitle said, but they're not major changes, they're just one word or two. I guess probably just to have the voice actor sound as natural as possible. So it's not a big deal, it doesn't really change what the intent was. I also did try to see what happens if you lose to any of these characters, and it's nothing that impressive. For example, Frieza just says that he enjoyed the fight, and the soldiers have little taunts. It's nothing major, nothing I thought that would change the scenario at all, so I just wanted to say that too. And so yeah, that's basically the what if. So now I'm going to tell you guys how exactly I think things went down and that type of thing. So I think the story is Frieza, King Cold, and their men arrived on Earth the night before the main timeline events, and because of that, future Trunks did not come and do anything, neither did Goku, and instead we got Devilman. Devilman must have come back, hired by Baba to continue being a champion for her, and I guess at the end of the day he just noticed them and defeated them. And that's basically what I think the what if was. This one wasn't that crazy, but I did enjoy its inclusion in Tenkaichi 3. I did enjoy that we got to see an old character from Dragon Ball come and interact with Z characters, so that was really cool to see in this what if. And as for Devilman's training and how he got so strong, that's not really, there's nothing really hinted to us how that happened, but I am assuming that because he lost to Goku, he trained on his own in Otherworld, or even on Earth on his own with the other champions or something. But yeah, nothing really implies that he trained under this person or that person or anything like that. But I do like the idea that he did train himself to get stronger. And also a side question, how strong would his Devil Might beam be? We know it amplifies the evil in one's hearts and destroys them because of that. And I was wondering if you guys think it would work on people like Cell, Boo, Omega Shenron, Goku Black, anything like that. And does it matter how strong he is? If you believe his beam could work on really strong opponents like Omega, as I said, or Goku Black, would it matter if he was still at the power level he was in Dragon Ball? Or would it just not work even though he's at the power of maybe Mecha Frieza, like in this scenario? And yeah, that's basically all for this what if. So I want to recommend you guys check out my other what if breakdowns and explanations. I've done a bunch already. And yeah, that's basically it. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.